2022 was one hell of a year for football lovers. It gave us the best stories in both club and international football, and we could not be more grateful. There were so many incredible footballing moments from 2022, but today we want to look back at the best of the best. Here are the 10 best footballing moments of 2022. 8. It eventually came home. 2022 also saw an international trophy go to England for the first time since 1966. The English fans had been singing "It's Coming Home" for over 5 decades, and thinking it would be the men to bring it home. But as it turned out, it was the women who did, when they won the Euros in 2022. It was an incredible campaign from the Lionesses, scoring 22 goals and conceding just 2 on their way to the trophy. The final was one for the ages. They went up against Germany, who really put up a fight and dragged the game to extra time. But a goal from Chloe Kelly 10 minutes to the end of extra time was enough to settle it for the Lionesses. And look at how she celebrated. Reminiscent of Andre Iniesta from the 2010 World Cup final, isn't it? That right there was an all-time moment for women's football, one we can never forget. Number 7. Abramovich sells Chelsea. Depending on where your loyalties lie, this could be either the best or worst moment of 2022 for you. Chelsea fans hate that this had to happen, but rival fans loved and still are loving every bit of it. Following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, the UK government forced the Russian businessman to relinquish ownership of the London club. It was a little drawn out, but it eventually happened. Abramovich brought Chelsea a tremendous amount of success during his 19 years as owner, so the fans were always going to miss him. But they miss him even more now because, so far, his successor seems to not be running the club half as well. Number 6. The Viking invaded England. In the summer of 2022, Erling Haaland joined Premier League champions Manchester City, and he had the best start to life in England. The Norwegian had an amazing first month in the Prem. He scored 2 in the opening game and closed the month with 2 hat-tricks in 4 days, making him the fastest player to score 2 hat-tricks in Premier League history. He was named Premier League Player of the Month in his first ever month in the league, and that was only a sign of things to come. By the time 2022 wrapped up, he had already racked up 20 goals in the league alone and was already sure to win the Premier League Golden Boot. Number 5. Nail-biting Premier League showdown. The 2021-22 season had the craziest end. Just like it was in the 2018-19 season, the champions were to be decided on the last day, and it was between Manchester City and Liverpool again. Going into the last day, City just needed to win to be confirmed champions, while Liverpool needed to win and hope City dropped points to leapfrog them. Liverpool were playing Wolves, while City were up against Aston Villa. Liverpool fans were hoping that their former players, Gerrard and Coutinho, could do them a favour that day, and they started out doing just that. Cash gave Aston Villa the lead in the 37th minute, while Coutinho doubled it in the 69th minute. At this time, Liverpool, who had gone down to a 3rd-minute goal from Neto, had grabbed an equaliser and were pushing for a winner. But while Liverpool thought they could really steal the title in the final minutes, Man City pulled off an incredible comeback. Goals from Gundogan and Rodri in the 76th and 78th minutes respectively drew City level, and Gundogan sealed the turnaround with the winner in the 81st minute. The Etihad went up in flames. That was easily one of the craziest moments of the entire year. Number 4. Real Madrid Champions League run. Real Madrid had the most insane run to the Champions League trophy last year, and that was surely one of the best highlights of 2022. 3 times the Spanish Giants looked like they were down and out. 3 times they pulled off unthinkable comebacks and made it to the next round. In the round of 16 against PSG, in the quarter-final against Chelsea, and in the semi-final against Man City. Real Madrid came back each time and got to the final where they beat Liverpool and won the tournament. It's one thing to win the Champions League, but to do it the way Madrid did in 2022? Now that was something historic. Now to the top 3. Number 3. Morocco making history. The 2022 World Cup in Qatar was one of the best ever. Despite all the fears before the competition, Qatar delivered an absolute showdown. From Saudi Arabia shocking Argentina in the opening round of games, to Germany getting knocked out in the group stages, Qatar had drama. But one of the best moments of the entire tournament was Morocco knocking out Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal in the quarter-final, and becoming the first ever African and Arab nation to reach the semi-final of the FIFA World Cup. That day, we saw Youssef En-Nesyri rise higher than Cristiano Ronaldo and head home the only goal of the game. Apart from what that game meant to Morocco and the whole of Africa, it also meant that one of the greatest footballers of all time would very likely retire without ever winning the World Cup. It was such a huge moment in football in 2022. Speaking of Cristiano Ronaldo, number 2, CR7's groundbreaking interview. Just before the World Cup, Cristiano Ronaldo went on Piers Morgan Uncensored and delivered what was the interview of the decade, as far as the world of football is concerned. Perhaps even the interview of the century. Ronaldo had recently been relegated to the bench at Man United, and it became a really big thing, with the Portugal captain even walking out on the team during the game against Spurs. Then, when club football went on a break in preparation for the World Cup, Ronaldo linked up with British journalist Piers Morgan and said all sorts of things about Manchester United, the owners of the club, the way the club is run, the coaches, and even his teammates. It was an absolutely insane interview. It led to his contract with Manchester United being terminated and him being moved to Saudi Arabia to join Al Nassr in January. Now, to the biggest and best moment in the world of football from 2022. Number 1. Lionel Messi winning the World Cup. Going into the World Cup in Qatar, virtually everyone had it at the back of their minds that it very well might be Messi's last World Cup. Even the former Barcelona captain hinted that he would retire from international football after Qatar. As far as millions of football fans and pundits were concerned, Messi deserved to win the World Cup, and some even said that, if football was fair, he would. And people were more hopeful than ever. A record number of Argentines travelled to Qatar to watch the Albiceleste. But it actually didn't start out well, with Messi and his teammates getting shocked by Saudi Arabia in their opening game. But they managed to pick up momentum, beating Mexico, Poland, Australia, the Netherlands, and Croatia to set up a meeting in the final with defending champions, France. At first, it looked like they were going to cruise to the trophy, with Argentina 2-0 up in the first half against France. But Kylian Mbappé had other ideas. He scored 2 late goals to force extra time, and then completed his hat-trick in extra time to force penalties. One of the moments of the final came in the very last seconds, when Emi Martinez saved a shot from Kolo Muani, which would effectively have won France the World Cup. Martinez would go on to put up more heroics in the shootout, saving a penalty as Argentina went on to be crowned world champions. It felt like the year ended on a perfect note, with Lionel Messi winning the World Cup for the first time ever in the last month of the year. And not only did he win the World Cup, he won it as the best player at the tournament. On the 18th of December 2018, Lionel Messi did not just complete the best footballing moments of 2022, he completed football itself. Are there more moments from 2022 you think should have made the list? Let us know in the comments. As you do that, slap the like button and subscribe to the channel too. Ciao!